Hey, yeah. Well. Hello, fraud and audit friends and family. Listen, imagine handing someone the keys to a new car, trusting that they will drive it safely. Now imagine they use it as a gateway vehicle instead, and they start doing all kinds of bad stuff with the car that you've entrusted to them. Today, we're stepping into a scheme where the car, well, it wasn't a physical vehicle, and the ride didn't end where anyone expected, but that's beside the point. What if the trust that we place in financial systems was the fuel for something a whole lot darker? Stay tuned, because, well, like I say each week, this one is real crazy. I know I say that every week, don't I? Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Friday Fraudster podcast. Join them as they discuss sad, funny, and sometimes disturbing fraud stories. Be sure to catch past episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or go to www.fridayfraudster.com.
All right. Hey, friends, listen, welcome back to the Friday Fraudster. I'm your host, Robert Berry. So I'm going to ask you something right off the top before we bring up everybody. When was the last time you looked at your bank statement and asked yourself, how in the world did this get here? Because, we often assume that banking systems, especially merchant accounts, credit card processing accounts, those wires going in and out, we assume that they are tightly controlled, right? We assume that there are rules, there are safeguards. But what happens if someone finds the gaps? Like when they believe that the rules are paper thin and that the systems should be trusted by default? Because that's the question I have for you today. When's the last time you looked at your bank statement and said, how in the world did this get here? And so, without further ado, we're going to bring up a couple people. Now, you guys have probably been waiting to see this guy, or not waiting to see him.
They're so tired of seeing me. Bring up some better people, would you?
Hey man, what's happening? Okay. Some better people.
Oh my gosh, you guys
Christine.
are crazy. Better people.
We didn't think you were gonna make it today.
I didn't think I was either. But I'm not even a better person. I think we need to add to this a better person.
Yeah, totally agree. We've got to add somebody.
You know what? Okay. Let's add to this a better person. You know what's interesting is I think you all might be in the same home right now too. So that's
I put my piano on the other side.
Yeah. We're in a duplex.
Okay. That's what it is. You all in a duplex. And if you all don't know who this is Stephanie. Okay, so wait. I keep forgetting. Since we're all like family here, I just go right on into it. Let's introduce ourselves to everyone. I'm nobody, and I just kind of push buttons over here. My name is Rob Berry. So who else do we have with us today? Thomas, who are you, man?
Oh, no. Let Beauty go first. One of the ladies go first.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
I did my hair for this.
So did I.
My name's Stephanie Baumert. I work for a large credit union, a longtime listener, first-time caller. And I work in anti-money laundering department, so doing money laundering investigations.
And she's the only one that never comments on whenever we're live, so we need somebody else to be commenting today.
You know what? That's true. So she's watching the money.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christine.
I'm Christy Murray. I am a certified internal auditor. Love saying that because that was hard work. But I'm also working for credit unions, like Stephanie said, and I oversee our audit and compliance and fraud.
So you're the person that everybody is afraid of.
How dare you?
Yeah, but I still make it fun.
You make audit fun?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's possible, right? Yeah. We can do that. Thomas.
All right. I'm
Who are you,
Thomas
sir?
Mullenix. I own Revision Management Consulting as well as this one over here. I'm the partner with Robert for 21st Century Audit, and I don't know. I'm half dead, half asleep tonight, but it's all good. I'm enjoying the lovely weather in Houston for the first time in 18 months. So it's quite nice to finally not be in the 100-degree heat for once here in Houston.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm Robert Berry. I'm just your friendly neighborhood auditor. You know what? Thomas? So, okay, wait a minute. Let's not downplay this. I keep downplaying things. You guys, I've got something real exciting I want to say. Because I'm really excited, and I'm not being sarcastic, but I just came back from the Netherlands doing a keynote presentation for the group of auditors that roll up to the United Nations. And oftentimes I know I downplay a lot of the things that I do, but damn it, I'm proud of that.
That is really, really cool. Yeah,
That's cool.
really cool.
That's a once in a lifetime thing. Like, I don't know anybody else that has done that.
Well, and if you think about it,
Robert, it is
his story so much, right? He talked about some of the struggles he's faced professionally, some of the challenges, and the fact that you went through all of that, and not only are you fairly successful, you're fairly well known, but getting to speak to the UN, like that, UN auditors, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a story to tell.
It is. I'm getting a little teary-eyed over here.
Got your passport stamped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you realize they're watching you like a hawk on everything you do now, right?
He's on the list.
Oh, I mean, they probably were beforehand anyway, you know? Look, Lisa said better person over here. Okay. You know what? I don't even have a silly way to segue into this one. Let's just kind of start in the middle and then we'll kind of back our way out. So look, right now with this one, we're in the middle of U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and the U.S. Department of Justice investigation into 4 individuals who, according to a federal indictment, conspired to commit bank fraud and money laundering. Of course they did. Now, it's in the jurisdiction is the Middle District of Florida. And here's the scheme. They created fraudulent merchant processing accounts. They used the identities of unsuspecting individuals to hide ownership. Now, here's where it gets funny, though. So the indictment says that the criminal proceeds processed through the fraudulent accounts exceed $128 million. But let's take a step back and kind of baseline this a little bit. So let's talk about what a merchant processing account is and why this case is just so strange to us, because there's so much we can't find on it. So a merchant account is essentially a special type of bank account set up so a business can accept credit and debit card and other type of electronic payments. That's all it is. You have a business, you're going to have a merchant processing account. Now, the big problem is a lot of industries can't get merchant processing accounts. For example, and I was telling them earlier, I have a friend that owns a cosmetic skin line, but skincare line, but her products are cannabis infused. And it took her a while to get a merchant processing account. By the way, if you want to take a look at it, it's called Potency 710. Go to Potency 710. This stuff will, look at my skin. It'll make your skin glow.
You look beautiful today.
Just today? No, I'm just kidding.
But your eyes are kind of bloodshot there. You're kind of floating a little bit.
I just hide my bags with my glasses.
But when a customer pays, what happens is the payment processor authorizes the transaction and the funds go temporarily into the merchant account and then they settle into the business's bank account after that. And so essentially merchant processing is the infrastructure that kind of keeps e-commerce and retail card swipes and online subscriptions and apps and all of that stuff running smoothly. And without that, it'd be hard for them to actually do business online. So in this case, they set up these accounts using other people's identities. All right, so I'm just gonna stop there and pause right there and see what do you guys think so far? What are your thoughts?
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Apparently, they paid people to use their information, so they were receiving some sort of money from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is the first time I've heard of something like this. I'm sure it's probably happening like this isn't the only time they just got caught.
So would you, since we've got a couple of banking experts, on here, and I'm not, would this be similar to someone, like sometimes you swipe your credit card somewhere and then a little bit later on you look at your statement, and instead of saying, the Shell station, it says, some Chinese restaurant, and they just took the bank terminal or the credit card terminal and moved it, essentially. Is it kind of similar to something like that?
That's more like skimming.
Sure.
So I think that would be my question. So if they were taking these cards, processing it, right, to get that money, and I think it all depends on if it was a Visa, MasterCard. So Visa, MasterCard, Discover, they all have their own rules on chargebacks.
Yep.
So it would almost sit there and be a chargeback, but then would Visa eat it, MasterCard eat it, because then the consumer would get their money back, or would the bank be left holding the bag? Because then if they challenge it, it goes back to the merchant. The merchant can then sit there and go, nope, it's a real charge. And if it just gets held in that limbo, I think that's where it is how, because I know that they do charge back like feedback stuff. You know what I'm like Visa monitors that chargeback at the financial level, because if you have too many chargebacks, like it could cause you to lose your contract with them, from my knowledge. Stephanie, anything else on yours that am I missing something? I probably
because if you've got a vendor or business and they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, predatory business practices, and you order a carving of Abraham Lincoln, you get a penny in the mail, but you pay $400 for that, and you fight it and say, okay, well, I didn't get what I paid for, and they charge it back. Eventually, that gives a bad reputation to that business, and then the banks are like, nope, sorry, peace out.
Yeah. So okay. So let's dig a little deeper, because apparently, all right, full transparency to everyone listening, we could not find exactly what they were selling. But whatever it was, we do know that a part of the scheme was one of those deals where, you sign up for something during a trial period. And then when you don't cancel during the trial period, because they made it so difficult for you to find how to cancel, they continuously charge you for several months on end. That is what they were doing. Now, here's the thing. As long as they were actually providing access to a service, that's not necessarily illegal. It's very, very shady. And so that business typically has a lot of chargebacks, people refuting the charges. So one of my speculations is they used other people's identities because they had done this scheme so much that they would no longer be eligible to get a merchant processing account. And so they split some of the funds with those individuals. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So now Lisa is saying that this is very common, fraudulent applications, stolen identities. But here we go, Lisa. They did use some stolen identities, but they also paid some people for their identities. And then Lisa says potentially account takeover. So now Lisa, because Lisa's another fraud person, here's after hearing the additional information I added, what do you think now, Lisa? Because we were kind of confused because, again, we still can't find what they actually sold. We know that it was some sort of subscription service where if you didn't cancel, then they charged you for months on end. And, you know, when it's a small dollar amount, oftentimes we just forget it.
Yeah, because the only thing that I ended up seeing is, and I did find an article as far as it looks like they may have been on MasterCard's match program. So MasterCard monitors for those high risk type of businesses. And it looks like what they were doing was it's called card rebilling, and negative option marketing. So I don't know exactly what that is. Oh yeah, you said it. It was during a trial period.
So I think it's like those pop-up ads you see on Facebook. You're like, hey, buy this supplement, it'll do amazing things. You know, get a free sample for $5.99. But then there's that itty bitty print that says, oh, but if you don't cancel, which we don't want you to do, it's, you know, $80 a month that we're going to start charging you.
Well, and that's been happening for like decades. Because I remember when I was like 22 and people would have a written statement of unauthorized debit coming in because they ordered that trial and they only were supposed to get charged that $5.99 and then it was $75. And I remember at that time, before more stringent or strong Reg E regulations, we would sit there and tell them, you need to contact them and probably send the trial size back so they stop billing you. So
then good luck contacting them.
Yeah, so let's go back to what Christine said, because it does appear to be that some of the individuals may have been a part of the MasterCard Match program. And so here's what Match is. MATCH, MasterCard Alert to Control High-Risk Merchants. And it is a list. And if you are on that Match list, it will be difficult for you to obtain merchant processing services from other financial institutions in the future. And so the grand jury alleges that from May 2018 to May 2023, the conspirators, they sought to avoid the negative consequences of engaging in those high-risk transactions. And so that is why they fraudulently established merchants' accounts for the entities that they controlled in the name of independent business owners. In other words, these other people. So they use these other people. Back to my speculation, they were probably already on the list, so they had to use other folks. And so they organized it. They created a bunch of shell companies, and they ran everything through the shell companies. So again, up to this point, whatever they were selling, was it legitimate or not? That's the part that is very confusing, because even though this rebilling scheme is a bad thing, some people just cancel it and don't ask for a chargeback. And in that case, you're legitimately entitled to the money, right? Now, if there are several chargebacks, now you're running the risk of not paying it, and now the credit card processor is at risk. But I'm still trying to figure out, what were they selling?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I know, I couldn't find it either. I think the main issue is that they were creating these fake companies saying that they were owned by somebody else. In that case, that's part of the fraud. They're disguising the ultimate beneficial ownership. And then it said they were using those funds that they received as revenue to pay for advertising and things like that to get more people to do this. But they also own the advertising business. So they were laundering the funds through there. So they received the funds in, and then they sent them to their advertiser, who was them.
And I think we've been able to whittle it down to they were probably selling some sort of cosmetic and or supplement products, because one of the shell companies was named Quick Body Nutra.
I tried to look them up. I found a similarly named business that had been shut down for by the FDA, but nothing to that specific business name. And that was from a scam in Australia. So maybe
Okay.
they get around. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, this one was very interesting to find out stuff on. So Lisa is saying chargeback fraud, possibly a part of it, right?
Right.
So
Well,
the bank problem.
I was looking at, yeah, as soon as they got their accounts were terminated and added to MasterCard's match list, they just created a new one.
Right. Right.
It's events like this. There's times where we've had a fraud case and it was like a controller that dipped into petty cash, right? Or they did something, they got caught, and then that was kind of it. Like they stopped. They don't have a history of a fraud. They didn't keep doing it afterwards, something like that. It's kind of short. And for some of those people, you're like, you know what? If they would have just not had the temptation, looking at the fraud triangle, right? Like if you just took away one part of that fraud triangle, this wouldn't have happened. This is one of those cases that I hope they get the maximum penalty of everything they possibly can get, because they know what they're doing. They're trying to gain money any way they can that is not in legal ways. I really have no sympathy for something like this. This is clearly an organized crime type situation, in my opinion. Allegedly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, and they were the banks that this happened to are not small. Like one of them was Fifth Third Bank. And they perform their due diligence calls. Like I know, like I'm sitting here going, okay, how are they able to do it? Because I'm guessing there's, Stephanie, there's onboarding, there's customer due diligence questions that you ask when you're opening a new and onboarding a new business, to making sure that we understand the expectations of how they're going to be utilizing these accounts. And it says the banks perform their due diligence calls, and allegedly the conspirators would coach the IBOs or the businesses, or impersonate them directly and provide rehearsed responses that would satisfy the verification requirements.
And so they also had fake websites, which were like, they called them bank pages, so the bank's doing their due diligence. They look at a website, they're like, okay, this a lot of banks require, when you're signing up for these services, to provide a website. Where are you doing your business through? And so they had these fake websites that must have looked pretty good at the time. So it's something hard to catch in onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to say something somewhat controversial, right? Because we don't like to victim blame, but someone for the people whose identities were used willingly and who thought that they were a part of something legitimate, there's no way they really could have thought that, because the part of it is they said, here, let me use your identity to open up this bank account, and I'm going to give you a certain percentage of the transactions. Now, everybody should know that anytime somebody asks you to use your identity for something, that it's probably a bad thing. It's probably because they couldn't get credit on their own, or they couldn't open an account on their own, or they couldn't get an apartment on their own. And you should look deeper and ask them, wait a minute, why can't you get this on your own? What happened to your credit? Because of course, they wouldn't have told them that they were on the match list, but the answer would not have cut the mustard and you could have stopped. Now, let's go back to something Stephanie said earlier too, though, because when they did receive money, like Stephanie said, they then used some of the proceeds to pay for services that then promoted the scheme: advertising, web hosting, marketing. And so to that extent, it became a self-feeding machine. The more money they made, the more they pumped into advertising to get more people in. So then this is where it got a little bit more tricky, because the money didn't just sit. They moved it in between the accounts that they controlled, so they made it harder to trace. And so eventually what they ended up doing was they leveraged the merchant processing system, the inherent trust within the system, right? Because banks rely on the merchant accounts to process millions of transactions daily, and they assume those transactions are legitimate. Then they settle it to the bank account. And so the scheme exploited that. And so because they used identities of quote unquote innocent individuals, the fraud was masked. The owners on paper weren't the real orchestrators. And so when they started trying to talk to the people who were the owners on paper, they had no idea what was happening. There you go. If it's too good to be true, right?
I was gonna sit here and tell Stephanie, I'll be like, do you want to tell Rob or should I that scams that go around right now, we're starting to get in, at least from my experience where we are at, we're starting to get to the point where we're telling people they're falling for scams and like outlining it, and they still do not believe it.
Right.
Yep, over and over and over again. Same person, different day, different scam. And sometimes the banks are, one bank I worked for, one person fell for a scam so many times they had to say, I'm sorry, we just can't have your accounts anymore. You're too high risk.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
I'm like trying to search these people up. I didn't realize how many people have the same name and their last names aren't that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like their last name is Smith.
And then they went international because they've got 4 in Florida and then 1 from Canada. So that probably adds, I'm guessing, some more charges when you're talking international. Technically international.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there are a couple different quote unquote victims here, right? There's some people, their data and information was used unwittingly. Some people, well, they thought they were helping someone out for a piece of the pie. But at the end of the day, regardless of which camp you fall into, your credit could now be affected because of this merchant processing account that was set up in your name.
It's making me wonder, like, for those, were these people that they knew that were part of their life, or did they just find these individuals?
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell, but just reading it, it seemed like it was a combination of both. Because they advertised, obviously, to bring in some people, and I'm guessing those were the people that they didn't know. But it sounds like they may have actually used people that they knew too.
And it could be that those people were victims of scams and they were just impersonating them when the bank would call, and it could be, identity theft as well. So there could be kind of seems like they had their hand in a whole lot of pies.
Yeah, they did.
For some reason, the third Die Hard movie comes to mind at the very beginning of the movie. Samuel L. Jackson is working in his pawn shop, and 2 boys come walking in with a boombox, and they're like, "Yeah, Tony said that he found it in a dumpster, and he wants to sell it to you."
Was it just like new? Fell off a truck?
Oh yeah, fell off a truck. And obviously the boombox was stolen, and Samuel L. Jackson's character is like, "Hey, hand me that newspaper over there." He takes it and just smacks him upside the head with it. He's like, "Man, this is stolen. It's stolen, and you're gonna get caught with, the stolen goods if the police catch you." It kind of for some reason reminds me of that too. It's like, if you're giving your identity to the ones that willingly did it. Like, yeah, sure, you can use my identity to do all of this crime. It's like, he's stupid. Someone just handed you a stolen boombox, and they're gonna go. And you're going to get caught with it. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes you're asking for trouble. Rob, you asked me the question, I think it was last week, the one that had the Bibles that were being smuggled into China, but really it was a fraud situation, right? You said, well, should we blame the people who were willingly helping someone commit a crime? Should they be like, hey, you get what you pay for? in this instance, yes, I think they should. The ones that were willingly giving this up, yeah, I think they should definitely be penalized for that.
Well, and I think that's what we're struggling with right now. I think in the financial sector, and Stephanie, you can agree if you're seeing the same thing, is how many of these individuals that are claiming fraud are part of it? Like, oh,
Right.
I'm getting scammed.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here going, were you part of it?
Right.
And that is a very, very slippery slope. I know that we are starting to see more individuals with charges being pushed against them because they're conspiring to commit fraud against a financial institution. So it is one of those things, if you probably bank with a bank or a credit union and you're constantly being defrauded, they may be sitting here at some point and going, it's not going to be up us to decide. We're going to file for the losses. You're going to be put on as a victim because it was run through your account, and we're going to let the police and the DA decide if you are part of it. Are you guys kind of doing that same thing, Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen back when I worked in person in branch, we had this kid come in. He's like, oh, my debit card was stolen. I think I dropped it on the bus. And then I just got into casual conversation with him, talking about how he took his sister for, go have an interview at the mall. And all of a sudden we see these mall charges. And then, my manager's like, oh, poor kid, let's go ahead and get this filed. But then you look, and he didn't give his card out. He didn't give his PIN number out. Those are all the answers he gave. But then you look at the savings account, because I looked at everything. And you're like, okay, well, there's an ATM inquiry after the time that you said you lost your card. Nobody's going to do that without the card, without the PIN number. So tell me again.
And it's a very slippery slope because a lot of these things, especially like this whole MasterCard, it's all covered under Regulation E. Mm-hmm. So it is a lot of the banks are having to cover it. Because how do you prove that somebody's lying to you about fraud?
Right. And you probably, it's not what you know. There's a lot of investigators out there. They're like, I know this person's up to no good. It's what you can prove. And I'll bet you that this probably was uncovered by some bank investigator doing their, they got triggered because they had all these chargebacks. So they started looking into these other companies where the money was going to. And they're like, wait, hold on. And I'll bet you somebody just broke it wide open.
All right. So this segues nicely into the next point. Let's talk about the charges and the potential consequences, because I think there's something very interesting here. Unless I missed something, the charges: conspiracy to commit bank fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. And so essentially, they allegedly lied to banks, opened accounts using fake or hidden identities, and then used those accounts to process fraudulent transactions. Then they moved the money to hide where it came from. So now each of these is a maximum of up to 50 years in prison for the conspiracies. Now, here's what I was curious about. Why conspiracy to commit bank fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering versus money laundering and bank fraud? And so here, well, I want to ask you guys, why do you think, and then I'll tell you what I think in a minute. Why do you think conspiracy instead of the actual?
Because there were multiple people involved conspiring together to commit these crimes. And sometimes, honestly, the lawyers got to throw as many charges at them as they possibly can, because only a couple are going to stick.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's easier to say conspiracy than to say you're the one that did it. So like she said, there's multiple involved. You start pointing fingers. Oh, it's his idea. It was his idea.
I think the conspiracy is the higher charge too.
Is it?
I think so.
All right, I'm wrong. I'll shut up.
So I think Stephanie's right. I think conspiracy is the higher charge. But think about it. Conspiracy, what it does is it criminalizes the agreement to commit the crime, not just the completed act. So it's a federal crime to agree and to take an overt step to commit fraud. And the government doesn't need to prove that the underlying fraud was actually completed exactly as planned to, to convict you on the conspiracy count. Now, the other thing is, this case does involve multiple people, like Stephanie just said, doing different but coordinated tasks. So the indictment alleges that people obtaining identities, opening merchant accounts, processing transactions, and moving money. There were several people doing that. And so those are the classic multiple actor facts where conspiracy captures the group effort, the planners, the enablers, the operatives, etc. And so even if a single defendant didn't personally swipe a card or wire a dollar, that means that they can still be charged with the conspiracy.
So it's kind of like Rico case.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's a good point. It is kind of like Rico. Yeah. Yep.
And of course, conspiracy to commit fraud. I mean, that's the act. That's the the first thing that they were doing. And then the money laundering is to try to hide where those funds came from, that they came from a fraud.
Yep. And I think the conspiracy, it is probably easier to prosecute, right? So.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe they have lower barriers to proof on those.
Yeah. So now, within this case, though, there is some property and forfeiture requests in this case too, involving one gentleman and his co-defendants. So the government intends to forfeit 3 residences in Miami Beach and 1 in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and they are alleged to be traceable to the proceeds of this offense. The indictment also seeks an order of the forfeiture of the amount of $128 million. Now, these properties too, one of them is described as a mansion over 10,000 square feet on Hibiscus Island.
3 of those properties are all on the same street, on the same island off of Miami.
Yeah. And I think we might have a picture. Oh, we might have a picture of a couple of those properties.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like the picture of him chilling in the pool.
Oh, you like that one? I saw that one.
I didn't see that one. Hold on.
That was in the article.
No. Wait.
Yeah.
The article that I sent that I don't remember.
No, this was in a different article.
Oh, okay. So here's one of them, and take a look at it. Estimated value 36 to 44 million.
Right.
Now, let's take a look at the floor plans for this.
They've got good taste. Whoever bought it, this place and then the other property, they got good taste.
It seems kind of small, though. I don't know if I could fit all my stuff in there.
Look at this.
This
look at
article,
that.
I don't know if it was specifically his house. This article was saying in the area where these houses are, one of the gentlemen didn't make well friends with his neighbors because of the types of loud parties that he would throw. And it said during the December festivities, Leonardo DiCaprio's charity threw an intimate bash at one of the Hibiscus Island homes that brought out starry guests, including Jamie Foxx, Steve Aoki, Damon John, and someone else, though the house was not rented directly from one of the guys that got in trouble with this.
Well, so look, should we schedule a selling consultation? Like here's the...
I'll give you one of those.
I mean, they keep calling him the mysterious Miami party boy. So
I saw that.
He was not laying low. Yeah, he was not laying low at all.
And then one of the properties is actually listed. It says rental removed on August 14th, just this last August, for $25,000 a month. And then the Virgin Island property is actually currently listed for sale at $5.9 million.
We should all go in together and buy it.
Totally.
Well, there's
I got the money.
I'm sure.
You have the money tree in your backyard?
That's why I'm saying like we'd all have to go in together. Probably have to get a few more people too.
Probably more
I was
people.
about to say, I don't even
I don't know
think
what you
that would
make.
work.
I don't make enough.
Well, no, I don't either.
Thankfully, half the crowd works in credit unions and knows how to perpetuate fraud. So I'm sure they could find the cash somehow, right?
My husband jokes. He goes, my wife's in money laundering, but she won't teach me. I'm like,
You know what, though?
anti-money laundering.
I feel kind of bad about this one, though. You're right. This one is 5.9 million.
It's
But it's
pretty.
only 6,200 square feet.
Only?
I know. It's so
Yeah.
small.
I mean,
5 bedroom and 5 baths. Like what else? Like, how big are those bedrooms?
What I find it interesting is that it's actively on the market. Now, I don't know when this indictment happened. Was it back in January? So I'm wondering if it's conservators that have this listed, if they've already taken possession. It's hard to tell.
I'm looking at that going for those views, 5.9.
That's not bad.
No, it seems cheap. No?
look at that shower. Man.
Ah, man. Now this house that I have, you see in my background.
I mean, you and Stephanie have the same house, so you know.
We've got good taste.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah. Wait, is that a
wouldn't
different
wanna-
shower or the other one? The same one.
It's the same. I wouldn't want to clean it though. I'm sure
No.
they have a crew of people, but
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
there's a
we'd
part
have
of
people to
me
do
like,
that for us. Yeah.
I would love a house like that, but I wouldn't want to clean it. And my husband would be like,
No.
if you had a house like that, you could pay people to clean it.
Yeah.
fair enough.
I
Well,
guess
apparently it's on what is that? Chocolate Hole? Yeah, Chocolate Hole Road.
I don't know who named that.
And then everybody gets their own bathroom. And it was built in 1998.
No, so it's old. It's probably falling apart.
I
Look
don't
at
know.
that. That's very reasonable HOA fee. $83 a month. That's very reasonable.
That's the
Wow.
deal breaker right there. There's no way I'm paying $83 a month. That's it. I'm not-
Oh, look at that, man. And we
That
can get
doesn't suck.
pre-qualified right now.
Oh gosh.
and it
What's
includes
the
a dishwasher.
Oh,
Okay.
almost
You know.
threw up a little bit at the monthly payment.
Right?
Wait,
Oh my
where is
gosh.
that? Did I miss it?
Rates are high right now, especially on jumbos.
If you go up, it was right where you got your pre-qualified. Yeah.
$32,000 a month.
And that's not even including homeowners insurance.
You know
And
what? That would be the
utilities.
best month of my life.
Oh, you know what's really going to break the bank is that $83 a month for your homeowners association fees.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so somebody, I don't know if this is Kay or Carol. I like cleaning, but I will never clean that bathroom.
It's K. Looks like it's K.
Okay. Oh, okay,
Brett,
wait.
what do you use on stone?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this has got to be K with this one. I hope conspiracy does not include thinking or thoughts because these days we need to think like criminals to figure out what's going on to better protect ourselves. Yes. 100%.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
You know, yeah. I'm trying not to be jaded, but
It's kind of hard. Rob, you talk about fraud every Friday,
yes, I do.
except when you're traveling out of the country.
I mean, you know. And you know what? I didn't take as many pictures as I should have in the Netherlands either. But
Did
it's
they
all
fly
up
you first
here.
class?
Well,
All
leading
the
up
memory.
to it, leading up to it, Rob was like, "I'm gonna try to take as many pictures as I can. I got to remember to do pictures. I'm gonna try to do some videos. I'm gonna try to do nothing. Yeah,
Oh, you know what? So here's
Were
the
you
thing.
really there?
I actually did record the session, but here's what's funny. My slide deck stopped working about 7 minutes into the presentation. And so they thought I was going to freak out, I guess, because they brought in the tech guys and I was like, no, it's okay. We'll just continue. And so I did the entire presentation without any supporting slide decks. And people were coming up afterwards and they were like, this was so great. Your ability to tell stories. You kept us hanging on the edge of our seats. Well, that is why you pay me the big bucks to come in and do training. But yeah,
And now you can afford that house.
Exactly. So now I actually have it recorded, but it's not really going to do a whole lot of good. And I'll probably post some clips from it. But what you see is a PowerPoint behind me that was like, I don't know, it said something. They put up some generic thing to make sure that it at least looked decent, but it's not my presentation.
Well, you recovered well then.
Just got to roll with it.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. But yeah, so, yeah, that's true too. Yeah, and that is true. That's probably K. I can, yeah, because I was living in the moment and not behind the camera. Because that's the other thing I did too. So once I got over there, I went and got a pass for the train, like a 3-day pass, and I just started going places. Like, what do? You're over there, have a good time.
How's the food there?
One thing that I didn't do was open up a merchant account with somebody else's identity. So, okay, I did have a bit of banking nostalgia over there too. Does anybody remember ING Bank?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that had like the lion or something?
Yeah, like gold letters.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Who bought them out? Off topic.
Okay.
Don't even need to know. Sorry.
So that used to be one of my favorite banks because opening up an account with them was so easy and the online app was just so user friendly. And then years ago, Capital One bought them out. Well, Capital One apparently only bought out like the US operations because ING Bank still exists and I got to walk into an ING Bank over there. That was the best bank ever. So anyway. So yeah, I nerded out for a little bit. Yeah, I did.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nerded
Heck, I
out.
can imagine Stephanie and I in a room and how that conversation would be going because we'd just be, what the fuck?
Okay. So what else do we need to cover on this particular case? Because we know that they opened up some merchant accounts that they should not have. We know that they were selling something, even though we are not quite sure what they were selling. We know that it was a high-risk business that they were doing and where some accounts would have significant chargebacks. We know that they were charged with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and then conspiracy to commit, what was the other one? I forgot now. And we know that they had very expensive homes that they had purchased using the money and that the government is wanting to seize one home that's worth 32, maybe $40 million, another home that's worth about $5 million, and $28 million in cash. So is there anything else that we could be missing from this particular case?
They've clearly been doing this a long time.
5 years?
Yeah.
I think it's longer. I think this is not the first time they've done this.
No, but I think in one of them it was stating that it was between the time of 2018 and 2023. But I think you're also right though, Stephanie, because it says one of their businesses was organized around April 2016.
Right.
Ooh.
So make it they do shelf companies where they'll make fake companies. They'll just let them sit. They'll let them simmer, get that, so they don't look brand new.
I don't think they were selling anything. So in the business entities, one of them was engaged in the business of facilitating the creation and publication of online advertisements and directing of internet traffic to websites and online payment portals. So I'm wondering if that's essentially what it is they were providing that service, doing the rebilling. So now they're stealing card numbers, and that's how they were able to do it. Like they weren't actually selling. They were just getting that way of how can we get card data so we can do the rebillings.
And that's what a lot of those fake merchant websites do. They don't send you anything, and you're like, then they've got your card.
Yep. So like this other one, it conducted merchant processing and served as a business management entity. So like, yeah, where they do a merchant processing for other smaller businesses.
Okay, so operating as an intermediary and just taking money off the top for really doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's possible. By the way, here I am doing that presentation. Let's see. So there's one. There I am again.
Did you make them laugh a lot, Rob?
Well, I mean, if you look at this young lady right here, she seems to be laughing, right? So.
Who says auditing isn't fun?
And then there's another one. I look real serious there, huh? This is right after the PowerPoint failed, and so I'm looking at it on the screen, and then behind me was another projector where it wasn't there, and I was like, okay, what's happening? Because I can see it, so my computer's not dead, so it's not me. That was my it's not me moment. So what the heck is it then? And so there's the projector right there in the upper left-hand corner, and it's just a white screen, like nothing that I had was up. So, but yeah, having a good time.
Well, I wish we could have seen it.
I don't know why we weren't invited. I'm kind of offended.
Well, I mean, you could have come. It was a BYOB affair, you know.
Bring your own butt. I have to pay for my flight.
But just sneak in your suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that was an interesting flight. Let's just say. It's always interesting when you fly somewhere. You fly out one day and you get there the next day, but then when you come back, like I flew back on a Saturday, and when I got back here, it was still Saturday.
That happened to me when we went to Iceland. We got there and it was like the next day.
Yeah. Was it really full of ice?
No. Iceland's green and Greenland's ice.
Right.
That's how I remembered it in school.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, I guess that's all I got for this one. That's all we have for this one. So here's what I'll say. Thank you all for joining us this week on the Friday Fraudster. Join us next week. I think I've already got the story for next week because I think I'm either going to use the one that Stephanie sent or the one I think Thomas sent me one too. Yeah. Both of you guys sent me something that was real good, so we'll use those because I'm a slacker. I'll wait to the last minute to find stuff.
But we won't find out which one it is until about 15 minutes before the show. Then he'll send us the link.
Hey, he actually sent it. I got it like, what was it, yesterday?
I mean, one's right in my backyard, so
Oh. I like those.
Well, we still got one in your backyard, Christine, that we have to do.
Oh yeah, he just got sentenced. But it's not really easy.
Oh,
you'll be it's mind-boggling only because they dropped the charges except for one, and yeah.
So
we need something spooky for Halloween.
Oh yeah,
it is Halloween. Well, all right. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.